From the Instagram account of NBC Nightly News, illegal border crossings have hit their lowest level since 2020. Well, that's odd because I was under the impression we weren't supposed to use the term illegal at all, but whatever. This is quite the coincidence.
But it's quite a coincidence.
Yes, that's all. A coincidence.
Big coincidence.
Not a big coincidence. A coincidence.
No, that's a big coincidence.
That's what the coincidence is. There are no small coincidences and big coincidences.
No, there are degrees of coincidence.
No, there are only coincidences. Ask anyone. Are there big coincidences and small coincidences or just coincidences?
Only a handful of weeks before the election, we're doing great. This is the lowest level since 2020, which is made even more strange because only a handful of days after Beau Biden became the president, we swung the gates wide open because we had to help the asylum seekers. They were all looking for a better life at the same time, even though Americans were still deathly afraid of the virus. But my name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
Because it would help me a lot and cost you absolutely nothing. But if you wanted to help me a little bit more and spend some money, you would buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description. But it continues. Texas Governor Greg Abbott vowed to keep sending buses full of migrants to cities across the country. But now this lady reports the buses have not been rolling on a consistent basis for months because of the drop in numbers, and that is just incredibly convenient. So for basically 3.5 years, you guys flooded the country with criminal illegals, and a handful of weeks before you decide that maybe voting is real, it all just goes down, and we're doing great.
A stark contrast at the southern border, where streets once filled with hundreds of migrants are nearly empty as illegal border crossings have plummeted. Now, fewer than
illegal border crossings have plummeted, and you cannot convince me that this is, bro, somebody is in charge of this. Somebody is making this happen. Somebody is setting this entire thing in motion. Everybody had to seek asylum in January and February and March of 2021, all the way through August 2024, and now it's gone.
2,000 migrants are crossing the border illegally per day, down from 4,000 in May and a staggering 8,000 daily Border Patrol apprehensions.
So is this to say that you guys are actually doing good, or is this to say that it's not really a problem? Is this you recognizing that your weirdo push for communism, socialism, whatever, this one world government is not as popular as you pretended to claim it was, just like Kamala Harris is not as popular as you pretended to claim she was, just like Beau Biden is not as popular as you pretended to claim he was?
In December, we traveled to El Paso, where we spoke with the mayor about the change the city is seeing.
We've seen the numbers go way down back in November, December of 2022, where we had 2,000, 2,500 every day. Now we're averaging under 400. So
the sharpest decline he noticed was this June.
This action will help us gain control of our border.
When President Biden announced new asylum restrictions.
This is absolutely crazy. This is see-through propaganda. Oh, well, Beau Biden announced an executive order, and it worked wonders after he made this gobbledygook statement about asylum seeker executive action.
We came to a clear bipartisan deal. It was the strongest border security agreement in decades. But then Republicans in Congress, not all, but walked away from it. Why? Because Donald Trump told them to.
It all just quailed. It's obviously not him. So who is behind this, and who is turning this on and off as they so please?
For Texas Governor Greg Abbott, the decline means fewer migrants to fill buses he has been promising to keep sending to blue cities like Chicago, New York, and Denver.
Those buses will continue to roll until we finally secure our border.
Despite that promise just last month, we've learned that because that flow of migrants is drying up, Governor Abbott has been having a hard time filling those buses he once sent daily from right here to those blue cities. We spoke with city officials from 6 cities who at one point were receiving thousands of migrants from Abbott's buses. They tell NBC News they haven't received a bus in weeks. In New York, they told us they've gotten no buses from Texas since June. For Philadelphia.
Well, They've got no buses since Texas since June, and of course, Eric Adams tried his hardest to make sure that those buses stopped, and he wanted to send them to New Jersey and make certain times they had to show up. Meanwhile, there's stories just in the last week or so of migrants borrowing a water hose from an outdoor garden in Brooklyn.
A resourceful migrant washing his feet with water from a city fire hydrant, using a hose borrowed from a community garden in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. Venezuelan migrants straddle one side of the corner, West Africans on the other. They have joined an encampment of street homeless migrants, which has only grown in size since the nearby Stockton Street shelter right down the block shut down last week.
Bro, migrants. Bro, so, fine, sure, it's dried up. There's not as many migrants, but you already let millions of people in and run roughshod over city dwellers all over the place.
Philadelphia and Washington, D.C., it's been even longer. No Abbott buses since December. The Biden administration says that drop is a direct result of the executive action.
Oh, the Biden administration claims that the executive action is what's helping. Is that who you asked? You asked the Biden administration if their policies were working? Is that the hard-hitting journalism that I'm understanding here?
Immigration experts also point to increased arrests made in Mexico, which NBC News was first to report. We got rare access to immigration data showing arrests on the Mexican side have gone up threefold over the last year. Hot summer weather is also a factor, making the trek a potentially deadly one. We met Ruben Garcia, who runs El Paso's largest migrant shelter network.
What we're hearing a lot now on the campaign trails about how the border is open, it's chaotic, it's not secure. Is that true? Is this chaos down here?
No, that's categorically not true. In fact, the numbers are very, very low.
At Ruben's shelter, we met Yosani, who told us she crossed the day after Biden's asylum restrictions went into effect. Her husband was sent back to Mexico, but she and her son were allowed to stay here, she tells us.
¿Qué es tu sueño para ti y tu hijo?
Oh, what this is obvious propaganda, and you have this NBC lady speaking Spanish like Peggy Hill.
Su pudor. Yo poder ver que usted ser caballo razonable. Yo estoy muy embarazada por la que pasar por Lupe. Ella comer mi accidente de comión y yo nomás quiera que hacer que Lupe ser libre. Yo tengo demasiados buenos años enfrente para pasar mi vida en fábrica cigarros.
Bueno, mi sueño sería...
She says her dream is to be reunited with her husband and to keep her son in school in the U.S.
Okay, so go back home. If you want to be reunited with your husband, you can't well, they're not letting him in. No, you can go back to where you came from and where hopefully you actually had that baby. Or is she I don't know, whatever. But don't pretend like, well, I just want to be reunited, so you guys got to let him in. No, you could go back home.
U.S. Governor Abbott's office says Texas has seen an 85% decrease in illegal border crossings, which they attribute to Texas policies. And they said until the Biden-Harris administration secures the border, they'll continue busing migrants. Tom?
All right, Julia Ainsley on the border tonight for us. Julia, thank you.
Tonight.
This is absolutely crazy. And they're not even, I guess maybe in their head they're trying, but it is crystal clear, see-through propaganda. Like, well, everybody says that the border is chaos. Is that true? No, it is not chaos. We are doing very good. Only 10 weeks before the election.